Didn't believe that that election was rigged. It was a rigged election. It was a rigged election, and it was a stolen, disgusting election. And this country should be ashamed.
Joining us now are Politico national correspondent and MSNBC contributor Betsy Woodruff Swan and former federal prosecutor and co-host of the Prosecuting Donald Trump podcast, Andrew Weissmann. Thank you both for joining me tonight. Andrew, are we going to see a superseding indictment here, or do you think this grand jury action is about the co-conspirators who were unnamed in the initial indictment?
Well, I think that the odds of seeing a superseding indictment in the January 6th case against Donald Trump are low. And that's because it's clear that the prosecution wants that to go to trial, and they want a trial date, and they want it to be either before the election or even before the Republican nomination. But what we could see is, to your point, the co-conspirators. I think it's highly likely that some, if not all, will be indicted, but that could be in a separate case. And then on the financial piece, that also could be a separate set of charges. And that doesn't necessarily need to go all the way up to Donald Trump to bring that case. Remember, that case is very similar to the cases that we saw against Steve Bannon and his cohorts in connection with Build the Wall, which was basically just a fraud case, which is you raise money saying X when you really meant not X. And you could have the same thing. What I find really interesting, if that proceeds, is that can lead to pre-trial forfeiture. We did this in the Mueller investigation, and so you could end up with that PAC with the money being frozen.
The Save America PAC.
Exactly. And what is it being used for?
Legal bills.
Exactly. Sorry. Exactly.
We take it on the road. Wait a second. I mean, that's deeply problematic, given the fact that this is effectively the piggy bank for all the defendants that are thus far towing the line for Donald Trump. This is where their lawyers, we think, are being paid from. So to have those funds frozen would have significant legal implications.
Yeah, I mean, there could be other funds that are available, but if they're funds that have been obtained by fraud, and obviously the government would have to prove that, there's a showing that needs to be made, but you can get pretrial seizure orders. We did that in the special counsel investigation. Obviously, that all requires proof. It requires a court to do that. But if this is where they're going, you can do that, and there doesn't have to be a charge against Donald Trump. It can be against the PAC itself. It could be against lower-level people and still have both civil and criminal forfeiture.